Adjectives are like spices in cooking. Just as spices can transform a simple dish into a culinary masterpiece, adjectives can turn a plain sentence into a vivid and engaging narrative. They add flavor and make things more interesting. Imagine a world without spices. Food would be bland and unexciting. Similarly, without adjectives, our language would lack color and depth. In language, adjectives describe nouns. They provide more information about a person, place, or thing, making our communication more precise and vivid. Nouns are the names of people, places, or things. They are the building blocks of our sentences, but on their own, they can be quite plain. Adjectives tell us more about these nouns, making our sentences more vivid and engaging. They add layers of meaning and help us to convey our thoughts more effectively. Imagine you're reading a book. The author describes a scene, but without adjectives, the description falls flat. Would you rather read about a house or a charming little cottage with a red door? The adjectives charming, little, and red paint a vivid picture in your mind, making the scene come alive. Adjectives paint a picture in our minds, helping us to better understand and visualize what's being described. They evoke emotions and create a more immersive experience for the reader or listener. Without adjectives, our language would be bland and boring. Imagine describing a landscape without using words like lush, barren, or serene. It would be difficult to convey the true essence of the scene. The cat sat on the mat is a grammatically correct sentence, but it lacks life. It doesn't tell us anything about the cat or the mat. Now, add some adjectives. The sleek black cat lounged lazily on the fluffy white mat. See the difference? The adjectives sleek, black, lazily, fluffy, and white transform the sentence, making it more descriptive and engaging. Adjectives are essential for effective communication. They help us to express our thoughts and feelings more clearly and vividly. They help us to express ourselves clearly and creatively, adding depth and nuance to our writing and speech. Whether you're telling a story, writing an essay, or simply having a conversation, adjectives are the tools that bring your words to life. So, next time you write or speak, remember to sprinkle in some adjectives to make your language as flavorful and engaging as possible. Descriptive adjectives are the most common type of adjective. They are the words that paint pictures in our minds, allowing us to visualize the scenes and objects being described. Without them, our language would be bland and uninteresting. They tell us about the qualities or characteristics of a noun, providing essential details that help us understand and imagine what is being talked about. For instance, when we describe a sunset as breathtaking or golden, we are using descriptive adjectives to convey the beauty and color of the scene. These adjectives answer questions like, what kind, what color, or what size. They give us specific information that helps to clarify and enhance our understanding. For example, when we say a large friendly dog, we know not just the size of the dog, but also its temperament. Think about a juicy red apple. The words juicy and red are descriptive adjectives. They tell us about the apple's qualities, making it easy to picture in our minds. Without these adjectives, we would simply have an apple, which is far less evocative. The words juicy and red are descriptive adjectives. They tell us about the apple's qualities. Other examples include adjectives like crisp, sweet, or tart, which further describe the apple's taste and texture. They tell us about the apple's qualities. Other examples include adjectives like crisp, sweet, or tart, which further describe the apple's taste and texture. These words help us to imagine not just the appearance of the apple, but also its flavor and feel. The tall giraffe stretched its neck. Here, the word tall describes the giraffe's height, giving us a clear image of its impressive stature. Without the adjective, we would simply have a giraffe, which doesn't tell us much about its appearance. Tall describes the giraffe's height. Similarly, we might describe a giraffe as graceful or spotted, adding more layers to our mental picture of the animal. The playful puppy chased its tail. The word playful describes the puppy's nature, giving us insight into its behavior and personality. This makes the scene more vivid and engaging. Playful describes the puppy's nature. We could also use adjectives like energetic, curious, or mischievous to paint an even clearer picture of the puppy's character. The delicious cake was gone in minutes. The word delicious describes the cake's taste, making our mouths water just thinking about it. This adjective helps us to imagine not just the appearance of the cake, but also its flavor. Delicious describes the cake's taste. We might also describe the cake as moist, rich, or chocolatey, adding more detail to our mental image and making it even more tempting. Descriptive adjectives add detail and color to our writing, making it more engaging for the reader. They help to create a vivid and immersive experience, drawing the reader into the world we are describing. They help us to create vivid images in the reader's mind, bringing our words to life. By using descriptive adjectives, we can transform simple sentences into rich, detailed narratives that captivate and inspire. Comparative adjectives, as their name suggests, are used to compare two things. These adjectives are essential in our daily conversations and writing because they help us describe differences and similarities between objects, people, and ideas. Without comparative adjectives, it would be challenging to express how one thing differs from another. They tell us which thing has more or less of a particular quality. For instance, when we say one product is better than another, we are using a comparative adjective to highlight the superior quality of the first product. This makes it easier for others to understand our preferences and choices. We usually form comparative adjectives by adding er to the end of the adjective, or by using more before the adjective. This rule applies to most one-syllable adjectives and some two-syllable adjectives. For example, the word fast becomes faster, and the word happy becomes happier. However, for adjectives with more syllables, we use more before the adjective, such as more beautiful or more interesting. For example, the blue whale is larger than the elephant. This sentence uses the comparative adjective larger to show that the blue whale has a greater size compared to the elephant. Such comparisons help us understand the relative sizes of different animals and objects. Larger compares the size of the blue whale and the elephant. By using comparative adjectives, we can convey specific information about the characteristics of different things, making our communication more precise and informative. This book is more interesting than the last one I read. Here, more interesting is used to compare the level of interest between two books. This helps us convey our opinions and preferences more effectively. More interesting compares the level of interest of the two books. By using comparative adjectives, we can share our experiences and recommendations with others, making it easier for them to decide which book to read next. When comparing two things, remember to use than after the comparative adjective. This small word plays a crucial role in making the comparison clear and understandable. Without than, the sentence would be incomplete and confusing. This helps to clarify what is being compared. For example, saying "this car is faster" leaves the listener wondering, faster than what? Adding than completes the thought. This car is faster than that one. For example, my brother is taller than me. This sentence clearly shows the height difference between the speaker and their brother, making the comparison easy to understand. This film is funnier than the one we saw last week. Here, funnier is used to compare the humor level of two films, helping us express our enjoyment and preferences. Comparative adjectives are useful for highlighting differences and making comparisons clear. They allow us to communicate more effectively by providing specific details about the qualities of different things. They add a layer of detail and precision to our language, helping us to express ourselves more effectively. By using comparative adjectives, we can paint a clearer picture of the world around us, making our descriptions more vivid and engaging. Alright, now let's dive into placing adjectives in sentences. You see, adjectives are like the spices in a dish. They add flavor and detail. First, we usually place adjectives before the noun they describe. For example, a red apple or a tall building. Sometimes adjectives come after the verb. This often happens with verbs like be, seem, become, and feel. For instance, the sky is blue or she seems happy. Remember, the position of adjectives can change the emphasis or meaning of a sentence. So, play around with them to see how they can best convey your message. And that's it for placing adjectives. With a bit of practice, you'll be adding color and detail to your sentences in no time. Alright, now let's dive into a colorful conundrum. Imagine you have a box of crayons. Each crayon represents a different adjective. How would you describe a vibrant sunset? Would you use words like radiant, brilliant, or perhaps glowing? Adjectives add that splash of color to our sentences, making them more vivid and engaging. So let's explore how we can use these descriptive words to paint a more detailed picture. Moving on, let's talk about some common mistakes people make with adjectives and, importantly, how to avoid them. One frequent error is using adjectives in the wrong order. Remember, the general rule is quantity, quality, size, age, shape, color, proper adjective, and purpose. For example, 3 large old round blue French racing cars. Another mistake is overusing adjectives, which can clutter your sentences. So it's always a good idea to be mindful and choose your adjectives wisely. Time for some practice. Let's do a few adjective exercises to solidify what we've learned. Try describing your favorite book. Is it mysterious, thrilling, or heartwarming? Now think about your favorite meal. Is it spicy, savory, or delicious? These exercises will help you become more comfortable and creative with your adjective use. Remember, practice makes perfect.
First of all, what went through my mind is how stupid am I to actually...
Congratulations, you've made it to the end of our lesson and you're now an adjective ace. You've learned how to use adjectives to add depth and detail to your sentences, how to avoid common mistakes, and you've practiced using them in various contexts. Keep exploring and experimenting with adjectives in your writing and speech. You'll continue to improve and make your language more vibrant and expressive. Great job, and keep up the good work.